So we're in the turbo otter once again, and we're cruising along at 9,000 feet over Scotland. We're heading towards Wick in Scotland, then we're going to turn north and fly to Stornoway, not Stornoway, we've flown from Stornoway, fly to Sumburgh. And we're doing this just to get a flavour of, well, I'm playing around with some of the weather programs from Rex. I was using Rex Environment Force and trying out different combinations with Environment Force and Sky Force and Active Sky, and I'm getting very confused, and there's performance implications. I've just flown into a whiteout, actually, that's not part of the plan. So what I'm running at the moment is just Sky Force, and using the Sky Force weather engine as well. Skyforce, of course, has its own kind of 3D cloud modelling system. Well, that's the theory, and I'm hoping we're going to get a look at some of that stuff today. So this part of the journey's not very impressive, so we'll skip forward. So we're just passing overhead Wick and sort of descend a little bit, so we try and get sight of the ground. Nice view of the coast there. We've got some nice cloud shadowing there. So we're going to be levelling off at 4,500 feet, I think, in just a second. That should keep us just below the cloud base. Plus we've got a fair bit of ocean between here and Sumburgh. Sumburgh's on Shetlands, northernmost tip of the UK, I believe. Someone will probably correct me on that. So just to remind you, we're on Sky Force cloud depiction and cloud models. We're also on Sky Force real world weather, and I'm using the 1024 pixel cloud textures, which is a good compromise in terms of performance versus how it looks. But we're not really seeing any of that texture here. We're kind of pretty much in the clouds and right up close. There's a bit of a jump there where the cloud models and the cloud textures shifted or something. I'm not sure what to make of that. One of the things that Skyforce, the reason I'm experimenting with Skyforce as the weather engine, is it has an option for smooth blending. When a new weather update is injected, we get a smooth and gradual transition. That doesn't always seem to happen, or it seems to happen quite abruptly with using Active Sky as the weather engine, even with the Skyforce textures. Right, so we're approaching our destination, Sumburgh. We need to descend a little bit, but before we do that, we've got a low fuel caution. This aircraft draws from the centre tank, as you remember. And so what we have to do is we have to, whilst flying straight and level, transfer some fuel. So we'll transfer from the rear tank. We need to put on fuel boost pump 2, if I remember rightly, and then select the rear. Oh, I selected the rear or front then. Select the rear. We should see that quantity in the gauge down there start to rise gradually, just below 40 gallons there, and on the other gauges we should see that transfer slightly less precisely represented. Hopefully that's going to be okay for me to go into a gradual descent. We're going to go into a, let's say 200 feet per minute descent. That should be okay. Come back a little bit on the power so we don't end up over speeding. We've gone into that cloud again. We're just scraping the bottom of this cloud base. There we go, we're just breaking out there. Is that fuel quantity coming up? It's coming up ever so slowly. And we should see that low fuel level light go out in a second. We could land without this. We've still got 40 gallons. We're only kind of 5 minutes out really. Can we get the 80s for Sumburgh? Let me see. 125850. Yep. 35017. Okay, so we want runway 33, which is going to be kind of that way. How are we doing with that fuel transfer? That's good, we're on 43 gallons or so. So there's the, let's just take a trip around and let's switch off that fuel transfer now because we're going to be manoeuvring. Just take a look at the strip. We're pretty much on a downwind now, although we're kind of high for that. We could go into descent flaps. For now. Okay, what do we need? Make sure the tail wheel is locked for landing. Visibility is pretty good, so no worries there. I'm just basically turning onto final really, not doing a proper circuit. Some landing flaps. That's quite a nice picture. Got some nice cliffs there. Well rendered. The sea looks a little bit static. Got some nice cloud shadowing over here. Pretty high. I wonder if we could scrub a bit off by going sideways. Not really. I think that sea texture there is static. This is a nice bit of relief. This is like a bit of a hump that we're flying over for the threshold. So we're pretty actually close. If we had the Twin Otter, we'd have a radar altimeter there which would tell us how close we are to that hill. We don't have that in this aircraft. Fossa, as far as I remember. So the height's okay, could have done with being slightly lower, apart from that hill being in the way. I need to slow down now. Three, crabbing a little bit. Crosswind's coming a little bit from the right. See if we can do this without a bounce. We're not going to get it on the numbers because we need to flare somewhat. Try and put it down on the mains. There we go. I wanted to weather cock. I'm holding full rudder to the left there. Let's unlock that tail wheel. I don't think the tail's on the ground yet. Is the tail on the ground? Must be. We've obviously got a serious headwind. Let's go to the next taxiway. We're actually showing airspeed of almost 30 miles per hour here and we're barely moving. What's wrong with my rudder? I'll tell you what it is. This is a problem with EZCA. If you've got EZCA and P3D 4.5, you have to go in and turn off, which one is it? Fuselage shakes. There you go. And now we've got ground steering. There's no logic to that, it's just a bug. This is a nicely modelled airport. This is an Orbix airport. And of course we've been flying over Orbix Scotland as well. So we'll park up here and then we'll decide what we're going to do next.